Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth. Today, we're diving deep into a concept that many of us, especially those of us navigating the complexities of life after 40, grapple with: the illusion of control. So many times, we try to micromanage our lives, scheduling every moment, and planning every outcome. We believe that by tightly gripping the reins, we can steer our lives toward safety and success. But what if that grip is actually the very thing causing our suffering? Consider that trying to control the future is like trying to catch the wind with a net. It's an exercise in futility, leaving us frustrated and exhausted. What if the secret lies in letting go? Embracing the flow? Before we delve deeper, if you're finding this topic resonates with you, please consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. We're all about exploring timeless wisdom to help you live a richer, more fulfilling life. The mind, by its very nature, clings to certainty. It wants to mold reality into its own narrow image of how things should be. It grasps, it resists, it manipulates, all in an attempt to avoid the discomfort of uncertainty. We often believe that control provides a sense of security, a buffer against the unknown. But, ironically, this very grip on life is often what causes suffering. One of the most profound teachings in Zen is that surrender is not weakness, it's actually the highest form of intelligence. The more we try to dominate every detail, the more resistance we encounter. The more we plan every breath, the more exhausted our spirit becomes. And the more we chase specific outcomes, the more life slips through our fingers like sand. Why? Because life was never designed to be controlled. Zen calls this the way. Taoists speak of wu wei, effortless action. Buddhists describe it as dependent origination, the understanding that everything arises in interdependence, not from force, but from flow. Now, as we continue, if you are enjoying this video, click the like button. Everything comes not from will, but from wisdom. Let's begin a journey into a Zen and Buddhist story, one that unravels the illusion of control and teaches us how the most powerful thing we can do is to let go and allow life to flow. Think of a person who walks every day with a scroll tucked under their robe, a list of rules, targets, and instructions for how each day must unfold. Each hour is scheduled, each meeting rehearsed, no word spoken without preparation, no decision made without deep calculation. Life for this person follows a script. If the sun rises behind a cloud, that's a disturbance. If the wind blows stronger than expected, their face tenses. If someone laughs too loudly in a silent room, judgment arises within their mind. Everything must remain within the boundary of control. The food eaten, the path walked, the way people behave, everything should match their expectations. There's no room for randomness, no room for spontaneity, no room for the unknown. But over time, this person's spirit begins to feel hollow. The joy once found in small things fades away. Even victories taste like stale bread. This person starts to ask, why does it feel like life is harder the more I try to manage it? A wise monk once said, when the hand is clenched too tightly, it cannot receive. Only an open palm welcomes the rain. This person has spent their life with a closed hand, clenched in fear, clenched in control. And now, nothing flows. Everything feels forced. Their body feels tired, their heart confused, their soul thirsty, because the river of life refuses to flow. One day, this person finds a quiet stream. The sound of water gently passing through rock seems to whisper secrets. They stare at the water and ask, how do you move without force? Why don't you resist the stone? No answer comes, only the soft bubbling of surrender. As we progress and you appreciate the message, please subscribe to the channel. We want to keep delivering quality content, and your subscription helps us do that. A gentle figure stands nearby, noticing the traveler's stare. The river flows not because it controls the stones, but because it adapts. Its strength is not in pushing, but in yielding. You seek to control life, but life is not a wall to push. It is a river to join. The traveler replies, but if I don't control things, chaos will happen. People will betray me, opportunities will disappear, and my dreams will fall apart. The figure sits by the river, motions for silence, and points at a leaf floating downstream. That leaf flows gently because it lets the current guide it. No effort, no planning, yet it still reaches the ocean. The traveler frowns and says, "But I'm not a leaf." The figure responds, "You are more than a leaf. You are consciousness itself. Yet your strength is wasted on trying to command the wind. Let go, and you'll see what happens." The river teaches that nothing needs to be forced. Flow arises from trust, not effort. The traveler then finds a garden, but it's not one designed with geometric perfection. It's wild, raw, and beautiful. The flowers don't grow in lines, the vines stretch across walls without command, and the trees lean with the wind, not against it. Yet everything in this garden thrives. The gardener appears and begins to speak. Every season brings its own gift. I never force the plants to bloom, I never cut the wind, and I never command the clouds to rain. I simply prepare the soil, water with love, and let nature decide. The traveler watches in awe. How can you trust that things will work? The gardener smiles and says, I don't trust that things will work. I trust that whatever unfolds will teach, nourish, and guide me. My trust is in the way. If you are looking forward to more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. The mind of the traveler begins to shift. Not every action requires a specific result. Not every seed needs to bloom instantly. Not every plan deserves perfection. Satisfaction arises from being in the moment, not from controlling its outcome. Later, the traveler visits a temple offering tea. They sit among monks, each holding a small porcelain cup. The host pours tea until each cup brims, but when he reaches the traveler, he pours too much, and tea overflows and spills onto the table. Why did you do that? The traveler asks. The monk replies, your cup is full. You came full of answers, full of plans, full of control. Nothing can enter unless you empty it first. The traveler sits in silence, and then emits a deep sigh. The cup of their life has been full, full of assumptions, full of rigid beliefs, full of attachment to how things must be. Control fills the cup with illusions, but surrender empties it, and only an empty cup can receive fresh understanding. From that day on, the traveler no longer brings expectations to conversations, no longer demands that moments obey desires. They empty their cup in stillness, and new wisdom pours in. One evening, rain begins to fall. Others run for cover, but the traveler remains, eyes closed, arms wide, water trickling down their face, clothes soaked, feet in the mud. But nothing feels wrong. In the past, they would have screamed at the sky, cursed the weather, and rushed to dry shelter. Now, there are no complaints, no fear, no plan, just presence. The lesson has become clear: when it rains, it rains; when it shines, it shines. The sky doesn't ask for your permission. Life arrives without your permission. The question is not why, but how you greet it. For the first time, the traveler welcomes everything, even the rain, and in that welcome, peace unfolds. One day, on a rock, a bird stands near the traveler. The traveler reaches out, and instead of flying away, the bird remains. It tilts its head and chirps softly, no fear, no urgency, no control. This moment, brief and silent, feels more valuable than any planned achievement. The bird had not been summoned, the chirp was not forced, and the presence was not demanded. It simply appeared, and that was enough. The traveler realizes, when you stop chasing, beauty visits. When you stop controlling, connection blossoms. When you become still, life notices you. No strategy brought that bird close. No effort, no manipulation, only stillness, only flow. One morning, the traveler climbs a high peak, their breath labored and legs tired, but something deep inside calls them to rise higher. At the top, there is silence, no wind, no voices, only breath and heartbeat. The mountain stands vast, indifferent, timeless. It doesn't bend to any will, and it doesn't shape itself for the traveler. And yet, in its unmoving nature, it reflects everything. Mountains don't control, they receive. From this peak, the traveler sees the truth. Trying to control life is like shouting at a mountain, hoping it echoes what you want. But once you stop shouting, you begin to hear. Silence teaches more than noise, and control blocks that silence. Surrender allows wisdom to echo through it. Then the flow begins. The traveler returns with nothing to prove, walking without rushing, listening without interrupting, eating without distraction, and sleeping without anxiety. Some days bring storms, others sunshine. People come and people leave. Some smile, some scorn, but nothing disturbs the stillness within, because life now flows. Control has become unnecessary. The river moves, and the traveler no longer tries to dam it. The wind blows, and the traveler no longer tries to cage it. The mind softens, the body relaxes, and the soul expands. When you stop controlling, you start living. The master acts without doing and teaches without speaking. Things arise, and she lets them come, things disappear, and she lets them go. Control is rooted in fear, but flow is rooted in trust. Zen does not teach passivity, it teaches harmony. Life still requires effort, but not struggle, action, but not force, direction, but not obsession. When one stops controlling everything, something beautiful unfolds. Life begins to carry you, becoming effortless, joyful, and deep. Not because you fixed everything, but because you aligned with everything. Let go, let flow, and life finally begins. Letting go is the gateway to real power. When the traveler releases control, life doesn't fall apart, it blossoms. What once felt like chaos begins to show hidden order, what once appeared random now reveals timing, and what once triggered fear becomes a mirror for self-awareness. Control feeds the illusion that life must obey the mind, but reflection reveals a sacred truth: life is not a problem to be solved, it is a mystery to be lived. Let this teaching echo deeply. 1. Why control fails to protect you. Control feels safe until it becomes the reason for suffering. Trying to predict everything, manage everyone, and control every outcome builds a cage. The bars are made of worry, the locks made of expectation, and the guard is fear. But fear cannot prevent pain. In fact, it magnifies it. When the traveler clung to perfection, every small inconvenience became a crisis, a delay became a disaster, and a disagreement became a personal attack. But once the grip loosened, peace stepped in. If pain still comes whether you plan or not, why waste your joy trying to prevent the uncontrollable? Let go, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. 2. Control is exhausting and surrender is freedom. A clenched fist cannot rest, a tight jaw cannot smile, and a heart filled with control cannot feel love fully. Control means you must think for others, you must fix what is broken even when it's not yours, and you must chase what's already leaving. But surrender does not mean apathy. It means choosing peace over pressure. When the traveler let go of trying to control others' opinions, relationships improved. When they stopped micromanaging the future, the present became radiant. The mind tires when it plays God, but the soul awakens when it trusts the universe. Surrender does not remove effort, it removes resistance. 3. Trust is the true foundation of flow. The universe moves in unseen ways. Trees lose leaves without asking why, animals migrate without maps, and stars burn and collapse without panic. But the human mind, burdened by ego, tries to control the rhythm of existence. When the traveler stopped questioning every moment, clarity arose. When trust returned, peace returned. You are not here to push the river, you are here to become the river. Trust is not blindness, it is insight without fear. 4. Flow happens when you stop interfering. The traveler once tried to make people stay, force answers, and push timing. But each time suffering followed, eventually stillness replaced interference. And suddenly, people who aligned stayed effortlessly, doors opened without pushing, and the body healed when rest was allowed. Control interferes, flow aligns. Let go of needing to make things happen and watch what begins to move naturally. This is not magic, it is harmony. 5. Letting go reveals the present moment. Control lives in the past and the future. It clings to what was and fears what might be, but life only happens now. The traveler noticed when the mind was quiet, the sound of birds returned. When expectations fell, laughter felt real. When no goal needed chasing, a walk became sacred. When you stop scripting the moment, you start living the moment. True joy doesn't require control, only presence. 6. You cannot force peace, you can only remove the blockages. The teachings of Zen often compare peace to a clear pond. When the waters are stirred, the reflection disappears. When the water is still, truth appears. Control is the hand that stirs the water. When the traveler removed that hand, clarity returned, emotions became transparent, desires softened, and patience grew. You don't chase peace, you stop disturbing it. Stillness is not inactivity, it is balanced energy. 7. People are not yours to control. Most suffering in relationships begins when we try to control another person, their words, reactions, attention, love, and time. The traveler had once tried to script conversations, predict outcomes, and protect themselves through control. But the day they stopped, a powerful shift happened. Some people walked away, others came closer, no begging, no chasing, just alignment. Control is fear in disguise. Love without control is the purest form of connection. If someone must be held tightly to stay, they are already gone. 8. The universe responds to inner stillness. When the traveler no longer obsessed over fixing the external world, internal balance emerged. And when that happened, outer life began to reflect it, not immediately, but with time, like seeds planted in silence. The garden of life only blooms when the soil is soft, not trampled by fear. What you control, you squeeze. What you trust, you nourish. Trust is the water, and patience is the sun. Let go and let it grow. 9. Freedom begins with internal surrender. You are not free when everything goes your way. You are free when your peace no longer depends on things going your way. The traveler reached a point where someone's rejection no longer triggered self-doubt, a closed door no longer meant loss, and a delay no longer brought anxiety. That is the mark of surrender. You don't need the world to change, you need to change your grip on it. From that moment, nothing could disturb their joy again. 10. Letting go is not the end, it is the beginning. At the end of the path, the traveler returned to the same road where they had once walked, list in hand, heart filled with plans, and mind filled with tension. But this time, no scroll, only breath, only awareness, only presence. And every step became a gift. You begin by trying to master life, and you end by becoming its humble student. And only then does life teach you everything. You don't own the ocean, but you can learn to swim. Life is an ocean. No mind can command its waves, and no ego can flatten its tides. But when you learn to float, when you stop struggling, the water carries you. And slowly you realize everything I ever wanted was already flowing toward me. I only needed to stop controlling and start receiving. That is the moment life begins to flow. That is the moment freedom begins. That is the way of Zen. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And now, don't forget to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth if you haven't already, because then you will get content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.